The Moonatics are on the moon. Welcome to Pink Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. When the moon hits the earth like a big pizza perf, my name is Gareth.
Oh.
Gareth Blackler. Host of the show, co-host of the show though, because I'm simply in orbit of a great man named James Barron. Hello, James.
Hi, Gareth. It's your humble co-pilot that you know and love. I sometimes get the facts wrong, but you love me anyway. Yeah, pleasure to be here on the podcast with you as always for, by some counts, our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? If you discount our labeled bonus episodes, this is our 100th on the feed. So congratulations to us, really.
Yeah, honestly.
And to you, the listener.
No one else is going to say it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Congratulations to you, the listener.
Yeah.
Because, my goodness.
If you've followed us for 100 episodes, fucking great work. Love your work.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. What an honor. Incredible. We can't believe it. We can't believe anyone listens to the show, honestly. So,
yeah, for sure. Like, my goodness. Wow. And we are here to, we're bringing you probably the only review in existence of 2022.
oh,
MOONFALL. A movie that you can tell is good because it was released in January of 2022.
yeah. Where all the good ones
Dealing
come
with
out.
not only the worst time to be a movie when no good movies come out, but also an Omicron variant.
Dropped at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, it was a crowded day.
Yeah.
This movie proudly said, no, straight to theaters for me. I have to tell people what would happen if the moon fell.
Yeah.
And what would happen?
What would happen?
What did you think of MOONFALL?
Oh my gosh. I'm still shook by the double billing of MOONFALL and Omicron, honestly. That's very funny.
Touring together.
Oh God, Gareth, this movie. I wasn't impressed from the get-go.
Oh, what?
Did the classic watch it clean into watching it with the Floyd. It was an adventure. But got the same beef that I have with this movie as I do most like Michael Bay Transformers movies and movies of that ilk, where it is CGI action and very little substance to it. I mean, it's inoffensive mostly, but it's a wild pick for our 100th, and I'm so stoked that I get to just rag on a movie for a long time. But yeah, I enjoyed my watch of it because I kept having to stop the film and yell at the screen directly because I was so filled with rage and vitriol. But I can't wait to discuss all my issues with this film. But also,
good.
How it synced with Dynamic album, a fantastic album about the moon and its dark side. Yeah, this is definitely a film about the moon's dark side. So I will grant you that. You nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it in terms of premise. How did you find it?
It's like dark side is in like its evil side.
Yeah.
Like, we used to hang out with the moon quite a lot, but she's
changed.
become a bit of a bitch.
Yeah. Last
real dark
11
side.
years, she's gotten a little bit dark. I don't know if we can hang out anymore. In fact, she just comes over and crashes all the time, and I'm not into that. I think that's a bit much. She's stretching our relationship a bit far. And also the atmosphere a bit thin.
Oh my goodness. I think I loved this film simply because of what you said, how inoffensive it is.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's Roland Emmerich who directed Independence Day and The Day After Tomorrow and all these big movies where the world gets destroyed. And you've really got to wonder, like, what's going on in this man's life that's what he wants to, the stories he wants to tell, the world is getting destroyed.
It's wild as a career trajectory to go from Independence Day to Day After Tomorrow to this. Because, like, they're all doing the same thing and gradually getting worse over time. Like, it's just, like, they're retreading the same ground, and that this, like, it's this huge, crazy visual effects movie. And somewhere along the way, the characters fell by the wayside, the story falls by the wayside, the science falls by the wayside, until we're left with sort of just CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I guess is he's honing his craft into what he believes matters in the filmmaking process. So there you go. I disagree with the choice, but I've got to respect the effort.
Yeah, especially because this one is an independent film. He, financed it essentially himself. He really just wanted to tell the story.
He loves doing this.
What if the moon fell? Like, you could get it with maybe Day After Tomorrow in 2012. It's like, oh, we want to make a movie where these things destroy the world. Let's get Roland to make it. He's good at making those.
Yeah.
But this is his passion project. He read a book about what if the moon was hollow and was like, but what if it also fell?
But what if it fell onto the earth and hurt a man's head? Like, that's it's impressive, an impressive dedication to a genre. He's found what he bloody loves, and he's sticking to his guns, much like we've done, Gareth. In this podcast.
Again, a perfect metaphor for this podcast.
Exactly.
On this 100th episode.
We're just pushing it to the absolute limit. No one thought we'd get this far. Even if we're funding it our bloody selves, we're going to keep going, you know? Yeah. Gosh. Oh, game recognized game, director. You nailed it.
Oh my gosh, he so did. That's the thing, is like, this movie I could only compare in recent memory to Old.
Oh, yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan 2021.
Yep.
But whereas that's insane, but every decision seems to fundamentally misunderstand how humans be.
Yep.
This is like professionals doing their best. Like, great actors, like character actor Patrick Wilson, Oscar winner Halle Berry.
Yep.
A man who knows how to make these movies, and then you get beautiful, completely seriously delivered lines like, the military are prepared to use everything they've got to stop the moon. And the moon is going to help us.
That was a yell at the screen moment for old James. Yeah. Well, we've got a long path to tread to get to that level. But I cannot wait to dive in and discuss Moonfall with you, Gareth. Oh
my gosh. Well, let's take that long path via one small step for Moon and one giant leap for Moonfall Kind.
Oh gosh.
Which is the new name for our listeners in this.
Moonfall Kind.
Over 100.
If you're in the 100 club, you're now a Moonfall Kind. We dubbed thee.
Welcome.
I think you just turn into one of the, like, grey aliens as soon as that happens. You've just got to go about your life after that. Yeah.
Are you meaning the classic, like, grey alien, like, Roswell thing?
The Roswell boys. You just become one of those. It's been a gradual process, but you only look in the mirror and notice now that you've become a grey.
Like how watching yourself age, you don't realize until someone might point something out. It's us pointing out that now you listeners are grey aliens.
All right, let's. This one's for the greys. Let's do it. Let's dive in to Moonfall, a wild film. Here we go. Opening title. Speak to me. We get glitchy footage of the Apollo 11 mission, the OG moon landing stuff. And we basically go, like, it's fine seeing Moonlander stuff to Dark Side of the Moon, but coming up here, we've got the intro to this movie And we're in space. We're up doing like a satellite mission, and Breathe rolling in over this is working beautifully.
A bit of light glimpsing over the Earth while Breathe kicks in. That's all you want.
That cheeky wee moon peeking his way out. Oh, what's he doing there? Oh my gosh, I love him.
If you're approaching the moon with a "what's he doing there" attitude, this is the perfect movie, because every time the bloody moon's a little closer,
he keeps sneaking
so
on
funny.
up. It's like sneak up on Granny, but with the moon. Oh man.
What if that was how it got, like, the true reason he made it was he was playing Sneak Up Granny and was like, but what if the moon
sneak up Granny, eh? What if he do that? So we got our astronauts up here doing some work on a satellite repair mission in 2011. We've got, as you said, Halle Berry playing character Jacinda Fowler, who I just refer to as Fowler for most of my work here, and Patrick Wilson, character actor, you love him, Conjuring, etc. Playing Brian Harper. These are our two key characters. There's also another guy called Marcus, who I haven't found out who plays him because he's only in it for this intro. Spoilers.
Yeah,
they're just doing some fixing out here, and they're listening to some banging tunes. Toto by Africa, Gareth. You know it? You mean Africa by Toto, James? No. Yes, of course I do.
So watching this with old Pink Floyd playing as my first listen, just seeing that subtitle of Africa by Toto playing made me so happy. Like, what a song. Although the happiness was immediately followed by shame, because I think the only time I've blocked your offer of a joke was in our Dune episode, June 83, when Toto make a cameo. And at that point, we were recording around midnight, and I was so sleepy, I missed the joke you made and corrected it. And every day, I feel a little shame.
Wow. That's okay, man. Sometimes it gets very late. I am very tired this episode, so I'm bound to just miss stuff. So do not feel bad if this happens. Okay. This is a safe space podcast.
Thank you. As Toto once said, love isn't always on time.
Oh, nice.
And, sometimes it's close to midnight and you let down the ones you love by not yes-anding their joke.
That's very sweet.
That's what that song's about.
That is what that song's about. Also sweet that we've just done The Lion King with a link to Africa there. Bringing it in, like, matching the movie's start to finish there. Pretty nice. Pretty happy about that coincidence. Anyway. These folks are having a good time out here doing this repairing. Harper's getting the lyrics to Africa wrong. Classic misconception with the song. It's I bless the rains down in Africa. I'm pretty sure I made this mistake many times in my life before learning
100%.
The song properly.
Yeah.
So fair play. He doesn't have Google up in space. He can't find out the lyrics.
There's no rap genius in the atmosphere.
Rap genius. Oh, man.
Is that still a website?
Yeah. No, you're on the money.
Yeah.
That's just the classic rap song, Africa. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, they're fixing some stuff. But suddenly, the electronics go haywire. We're mid-breathe here, and a swarm of nano machines engulfs the satellite.
Moon bees.
Yeah.
Bees of the moon.
Moon bees, they're here. They're fucking scary. They look like half oil slick, half like swarm of bees. I agree. And they're, geometric shapes replicating over and over again. Pretty cool, honestly. Probably the coolest part about this movie is the design of this swarm, this sentient swarm.
It's a shame we never see them that close.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what's going on.
Show me the swarm. Show me
show me the swarm.
Show me just one piece of the swarm. Are they like little sentinels from the Matrix? That's how I imagine them. Anyway. Yes. They attack the satellite and send Marcus out, free him from his cord and send him out drifting off into space. And it also like sends the shuttle that they're on like into a spiral, which like reels in Harper like a fishing line. And that we go into On the Run here as he like slams into the shuttle, and manages to self-right the shuttle. Quite difficult to do in space, I imagine. Stop something spinning out of control. It'd take a lot of maths and a lot of like correct jets in the right direction to do that, but he manages it. And Fowler on board has been knocked unconscious by this attack. And he manages to navigate the ship back to Earth without power, which is bloody impressive. Not shown on screen. That just happens. But pretty good. He's like, I promise I'll get you home. And then we have a crash zoom on the moon's surface where this nanomachine swarm cloud is like digging into the center of the moon. We see it like churning like a whirlwind. Pink Floyd sing Live for Today. Well, we get the Live for the Day, Gone Tomorrow ad-lib here, and as we get the title drop. So that's a portent of ill, I would say. Moonfall, glitchy. Nothing much to report about this title, but it's apt, I would say. I feel like it was the working title for the film, and they're just like, they got it in one. There it is.
Do you reckon they tried to get Dark Side of the Moon as the title?
That would have been good. I feel like it would probably fit. And I could see that they tried it, went to Pink Floyd's estate, and they were like, nah, I can't do it, sorry. They took a look at like some of the test footage, and they were like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Which I feel like they're probably saying no to a lot of things most times these days.
That's true,
so,
and even if one of them says yes, like, it's whether or not they can get Roger Waters on board as well.
Good luck.
So he was probably all about it. He's like, Hollow Moon crash?
Yeah, put me in there. Put me in that Hollow Moon.
Yeah, that was his one
request. He just wants to be in the film, inside the moon.
I know exactly who he would have played, and we'll get to him.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yes. So, still in On the Run. Some folks are moving house. It's in fact Brian Harper's family. His son is watching like a newscast about like exposition, explaining that Brian is now disgraced after coming back after this like heroic venture where he lands the shuttle. He comes back and is disgraced because he won't let go of the story of this nanomachine swarm that attacked, and everyone's like, shut up, Brian. You don't know anything. And Fowler cannot back up his story because she was unconscious at the time and didn't witness the attack. So, he also like blames himself for the death of Marcus up in space. So it's all bad news really for Harper here. Yeah. His son is also massively jaded and judgmental because he's like, oh, we lost the house because of Dad, and I hate New Jersey and I don't want to go there. And we get the crash sound.
It's so weird that I hate New Jersey, is on the crash sound. And then it's like, it cuts to 11 years later. Yeah. Like, really just feels like I hate New Jersey is supposed to be a stronger message.
I don't know. It's just a rough, like, New Jersey gets a lot of hate in general. I feel like it's New York's little brother that hasn't had a lot of love over the years. But like, I think it's probably fine. I don't know. I've never been. Yeah.
It's got Bruce Springsteen. Yeah. It's got My Chemical Romance.
Oh, what?
What do you want?
Get out of here, kid. What do you know? You don't listen to My Chem. Step it up. Yeah. I bet he did later.
If he'd listened... Yeah, of course. I mean, you don't steal a car
without listening to the Black Parade.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yes, as you said, 10 years later, we get a time jump as we go into time, baby. Nice. And we encounter a new character, Casey Houseman, who's played by John Bradley. You may not recognize the name, but you'd recognize the actor from Game of Thrones.
I didn't, but yeah.
Yeah, you see his face and you go, oh, yeah, there he is. There's the boy.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. This was a role meant for Josh Gad. Josh Gad was originally cast in this. And they clearly didn't buy a second wardrobe for this guy. He just had to wear Josh Gad's clothes and glasses and haircut.
The Gad wear, yeah.
Yeah.
He plays Samwell Tarly on Game of Thrones for you Thrones heads out there. I love that. Bloody Gad. He's too busy being a little snowman, I imagine,
exactly.
in Frozen.
He's got that
2.
snowman money.
The snow money.
Yeah.
Yeah. No money like snow money. And yeah, anyway, Casey is breaking into the University of California and stealing data about the moon's orbit. He's sort of like a ufologist guy, obsessed with Roswell and conspiracies. He's like fresh out of the movie we covered 2 weeks ago.
Under the
That's
Silver
the
Lake.
one, Under the Silver Lake. It fit in.
What is the moon but a big silver lake?
Exactly.
That sort of circle and has no water.
Yeah. It's a lake of stone. Goodbye. That's all we have time for on the show. No.
That's our Under the Silver Lake contractual mention.
Yeah. I'm a little bit upset that you haven't watched this movie clean, because he does do an American accent for this like stealing of the data here, and it's not bad. I was actually quite impressed. It's clearly fake, but like just because you're like so used to hearing someone speak with a British accent, as soon as they do an American one, it's like whoa. But it's pretty good.
What's wild is I knew he was doing a British accent by the way the subtitles spell the word mum.
Oh, nice.
They spell it the New Zealand/English way. And I was like, that's super weird, especially because you see mom later. And it's just like a really nice touch from the subtitlers.
Great work, subtitlers. Dang. Putting the work in for MOONFALL.
Although, huge beef on the MOONFALL subtitlers for later on. When any character speaks Mandarin, it blocks the actual subtitle that's baked into the movie that's to translate the Mandarin and just says speaking Mandarin. And
God damn it.
No!
That's just...
literally one job.
That's just... hate for hard-coded subtitles by the hard-working subtitlers of the industry. They're like, you've done our work for us, we'll stuff you. We'll cover it up. Oh, mate. Why can't you just get along?
I was actually talking to a friend about this, that let's say you watch a show simply, like, all the time with subtitles, because maybe you can't hear it properly.
Sure.
Or hear
Subs be dubs.
properly. Yeah, but you'll miss out. Let's say, this was the example my friend Rebecca used, was, let's say you're watching Frasier and Frasier speaks in French. The subtitles are just going to say speaking French. So you'll miss out on, if you can understand French, what Frasier is saying in French.
Frasier.
Exactly. Le Frasier. Yeah, it's just something like, it feels very, very privileged to be like, that's something I haven't had to think of except for when I do this silly show. That there should be like better subtitles. And
definitely.
Also, the cinema should do a subtitle screening of things.
Oh my God.
A, so we can go and listen to Dark Side of the Moon, and B, so people who are hard of hearing can
They should. I agree 100%.
Right?
That would be good. I would also just go to like subtitled screen. Like I often watch films. It could be a result of this podcast. I often watch films with subtitles on anyway. Even like if that's all I'm doing, I'm just watching the film. I don't know why. It's comforting to have the dialogue down there in case I miss something or someone mumbles. I don't know. It just
100%. Yeah,
it's just a nice thing to add. I don't know. Probably ruining some cinematic vision. Bloody like some directors are just rolling in their graves at me saying that, but whatever.
Yeah. But some are probably even happier because now you're used to subtitles more. You're going to go see like a non-English film a little easier.
Yeah. It pays off.
Practice on subtitles. Watch MOONFALL with the subtitles,
please.
friends.
So yeah, he steals this data, goes to work at a restaurant, and then tries to call NASA on the phone, but doesn't get through to anyone of use. And I've written in my notes that there's a sync here when Pink Floyd sing, and then one day you'll find 10 years have got behind you, but it's only because we're now 10 years in the future. And I don't think that really is a sync. If that had appeared on the change when like time happened, I think that would have counted, but no. No, past James.
We definitely... Okay. The definition of a sync is something in the lyrics or music happening at the same time as something in the movie. We definitely cannot reward a sync that doesn't happen at the same time in the movie.
That doesn't happen. That is the opposite of what we do on the show, yeah.
Yeah. That's like covering a good subtitle with a bad subtitle.
Exactly. Oh.
You know? Not what we meant to
Tied it all back, gosh. Anyway, we'll move on then. And we go into the solo, and Fowler like checks in on her son. She's like, nah, 10 years is like a really long time, so a lot of things have changed. But yeah, she's got a little son, and she's going off to work at NASA, and is brought a coffee by a character called Michelle, who's played by Kelly Yu. She is one of the most confusing presences in this film. It took me a really long time to figure out what her deal was. She's introduced sort of as her partner, as like Fowler's. I assumed they were in a relationship by the way they were like so comfortable with each other. But then later on in the movie, she's like, as a foreign exchange student, and you're like, what? Okay. Just a bit weird. I feel like this was possibly a rewrite later in the film. Like, they changed her from being a lesbian. I don't know.
Oh, you're probably 100% right, yeah.
Not great. Not ideal.
No.
But anyway, she's like, she just like is an exchange student who looks after her son, Jimmy, some of the time. Dunno. Sure. Okay. Here she is. She goes to work at NASA, Johnson Space Center, and they get a report that from the data that was stolen, etc., that the moon's orbital radius is decreasing. What the fuck? That's impossible, Gareth. And also, there's some kind of crater on the moon. Inside the crater, there's this hole emitting gas coming out of it. And no one's noticed this at all. Notably, this hole in the moon, in the context of the movie, has existed for 10 years, and no one has talked about it. No one at NASA has looked at the goddamn moon at any point. What?
Yeah.
Why? Okay. Anyway. That's the first instance of, oh no, I'm in trouble that I felt watching this.
It's wild because, no one's looked closely at the moon for 10 years, and then suddenly everyone's looking incredibly closely and figuring out everything that's going wrong immediately.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. The fact that the moon's orbital, like this is enough. Like, the moon's orbital radius is decreasing. That sentences our entire planet to a horrible death. Like, in this instance, if this actually happened, like just this part, it would be absolutely horrific. It would mean the extinction of the entire human race. And everyone in this room treats it as like, whoa, that's weird. Like, rather than like, oh God, the world is going to be over in 3 weeks. Anyway, I guess they haven't put that together yet, but sure. They didn't spot there was a hole in the moon. Anyway, so
I'm worried about these NASA types.
Me too. KC, back to him, finds that Harper is doing a talk at like some kind of observatory for kids. As a failed astronaut, he's now reduced to doing like talks. It's fine, but like, I don't know. He discovers this and goes to this.
Kids have enough speeches from people who are doing well. Kids need to have a speech from someone who's a failure.
Washed up.
So us burnout kids can have someone to look up to.
Our role models.
Yeah.
You too could be a washed up astronaut who is despised and lost his house. Oh, that's so funny. What a careers fair. Yes, it shows up at this observatory, but Harper is late. In fact, we cut to him now. He's being evicted from his place, very under the Silver Lake. He's 3 months late on his rent, and he takes off on a freaking motorcycle as we go into Great Gig. Mate, got some advice for you. When you're behind on your rent and you have assets, you could sell some of those assets to pay rent. Anyway, this guy like prospers massively off of the destruction of Earth in this movie. Yeah. And it frustrates me no end. Anyway.
Because it's not even like his main mission was, his main mission is save the Earth, but he does immediately figure out how to prosper, later on.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He doesn't learn anything. So we go into Great Gig, and Casey is giving the talk in Harper's stead about the moon, and just prattling on about some absolute bullshit. Like, he says he's a mega structuralist, and he thinks the moon is a giant mega structure, a Dyson sphere powered by a white dwarf. Which is captured inside of it, a sun towards the end of its life cycle, where it condenses down to a very small size. For those that don't know, still has a massive gravitational pull in that it is in fact a sun. But sure. Anyway, moving on. Yes, Harper arrives and tries to take over, and Casey tries to share his discovery about the moon's rotation being out of alignment, and Harper's like, nah, I don't care what you say, you're a crazy person. He gets escorted off the premises and throws his data up in the air at Harper, who collects it up. I like that he's a tidy Kiwi and collects up this paper here at the observatory. It's got, at least, I'll give him that one. I'll grant him that. Quite funny to see him bend down and pick up all this paper that is somehow his responsibility. Love it. After he gives this talk, he goes home, and I get even more angry because not only does Harper have a motorcycle, he has a full beer fridge and a Mustang that he's working on. And I'm so angry at him for not paying his rent. Oh, it's just so rude. God. He's just living this false American life. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's all intentional. It's but he's not enough of a jerk. No. If he was a jerk in script, in the text, it would make sense for the fact he's refusing to pay rent and just living a lavish
This is
life.
just painted as completely normal. It's played so straight, and I was just like, hang on. Wait a minute. Why is he not paying his rent? Is it because he is just he was an astronaut once and now will settle for nothing less than being an astronaut?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe get some priorities. He is here working on this car and finds out that his son, who's named Sonny, by the way, which is hilarious.
Yes, so lazy.
Is on TV and is being arrested for trying to outrun the cops in a chase. And he's like, no, my damn son, Sonny, he's taken after me, the disgraced astronaut. He's a disgraced young man for being involved in a chase. Anyway.
A disgraced carstronaut.
Oh, a carstronaut. That's what they call people who drive cars. As far as I'm aware, I don't have a driver's license, fun fact about JCB. And I assume that people that can drive are like astronauts. So...
Oh, yeah. Because there's no oxygen inside a car. That's what no one tells you.
It's impossible to breathe one on the out. They move so fast, the oxygen can't get in. I scream every time anyone puts down the window in a car. Tends to get them to stop. Anyway, he goes to his son's hearing in the audience of this courtroom, and both the lawyer and Harper here make complete asses of themselves in the middle of this courtroom, just yelling at the judge about the sentence and stuff. This guy would be so out of there so fast in a real courtroom. Anyway, the judge wisely delays this trial a week at the end of Great Gig here. And shout out to the kid also. He's obviously been briefed in that he's like not he hasn't said anything, which is classic defendant stuff. I was like, that's good at least. Anyway, we get the cha-ching of money coming in as we cut to a Lexus store. Product placement. Because the new husband on the scene, married to Harper's ex, called Tom. He's the consummate stepdad, and he owns a Lexus store. Shout outs to Tom. And they're just sort of arguing on the phone. What do you think of Tom, Gareth?
Well, Tom, I was very happy to see Michael Pena.
Yeah.
Playing like a very like low-key kind of character. But then I was even more happy when I found out that originally cast in this role was Stanley Tucci.
Oh, the Tooch.
Right?
The Tooch was loose.
Yeah, but he must have just been in Italy discovering it for National Geographic.
Yeah.
So instead they got the complete opposite man.
Mate, they called him and they said that the moon was crashing and he could not care less because he was drowning in ravioli at the time. He was just drinking wine and having a grand old time as the moon crashed into Earth. And I want nothing less for Stanley Tucci, honestly. What a guy. What a hero.
I want Stanley Tucci in all his movies to just be eating some pasta and getting a bit drunk now. Like, he's discovered Italy, apparently.
He's bloody earned it. He's a modern explorer. All right. I nearly called him Prince Caspian, which makes no sense.
He's not involved in Narnia at all, right?
I don't think so. He should have been Prince Caspian.
Yeah, who I think is a child character.
He is, yeah. Oh, God. Anyway.
The Tooch can play anyone. He's got the range.
Yeah, he does. He will meld in amongst the, animate mice people on board that pirate ship. Anyway. KC goes to visit his mum who has dementia. Sort of his mum, MUM, as well. Yeah. Played a little bit nonsensically, but also it's reasonable. It's not the most nuanced portrayal of dementia.
No.
But it's fine. She's just forgetful. One touch that I will admit made me cringe a little bit because it was too real was when she tried to get up out of her wheelchair. Because that's an all too real thing that people suffering from dementia can do.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, that got me. Anyway.
Aww. She probably improvised that. Because that was a nice little subtle touch.
It's really
where
good.
The rest of the way this film's treating it is just no, it's me, your son.
Yeah, that's all it wants to really do here. It just wants to introduce that, Casey doesn't have that much in his life. His mum is dying, and that's sort of the only friend that he has. It's it's really sad. Anyway, he says that he made a discovery, and she says, but no one's listening to him. And she says that he has to make them listen. And that's a lesson that he takes to heart because he leaks this information out to the world on Twitter. Like any good son does, leaks information on Twitter.
As someone who's had to run Twitter accounts for shows and this show, the fact that he got it to go viral is so infuriating.
It's ridiculous, yeah. He's posting on just megastructuralists forums. No one is following KC. I guarantee it, He's got less followers than this podcast.
The number one megastructuralist podcast.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah. We've talked about it at least once now, so there you go. Meanwhile, NASA is having a chat. The head of NASA guy here, they're liaising with them about what this means with the moon, what's going to happen. Effectively, we get the briefing that the moon is going to get closer and closer to Earth over the course of the next 3 or so weeks. until it gets so close that the gravity of Earth will pull apart the moon, and massive chunks of it are going to rain down on Earth, killing everybody. Awful. Yeah. And it's at this point as well that this news leaks on Twitter. And everyone's like, fuck, now we've got to make a statement. Fowler also calls her ex-husband, who works in the Department of Defense. I've just, for whatever reason in my notes, I've just called him Papa. And I don't know why. I think it's
let's not read into that.
No, I think it's just because his son calls him a lot on the mobile phone. And I want him to be calling him Papa, but he won't. So I decided to instead.
I'm imagining you as a character in this film, and you're like on the phone to the general as well, like later on when they're all on the run. And you're just like, sounds good, Papa. I mean, General.
Papa Alpha Bravo, Pab. Yeah, I love him. What a guy. He's the super stern army general guy. Who's not interested in anything. He does leak a lot of state secrets to his ex-wife. He's massively devoted to her, I think simply because they have a kid together. But that's the extent of his character throughout the whole film, basically. So anyway, they just sort of have a chat about, like, is the news true? Yes, it is. That's it. NASA make an announcement to the public that they're going to launch a lunar recon mission to look into the hole in the moon that no one noticed. And don't panic is the rule of the day. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry. Fowler's really mad about this, that the NASA head guy lied to the American people about the danger, saying that he's keeping them in the dark. And I'm like, no shit. He doesn't want the world to panic and think that the world... He could have gone out there and said, the world's going to end in 3 weeks unless we figure out how to stop the moon crashing into Earth. That 100% could have been on the docket. But no, he decided instead to say, hey, stay calm. Don't panic. And Fowler's pissed about that. So,
and then the complete beautiful lack, like, you've added so much more subtext to his character than the film they had time to do on the day.
Yeah.
But, like, the way that he just acts so snakily, I legit said out loud to myself in my room watching this, I bet he's on the moon's side.
Yeah. He is painted as on the moon's side. If he was revealed to be like a hologram or something later in the movie, 100% would have bought it. I would have been like, that tracks. But no, he's just a real person in this film accidentally existing. Anyway, Tom is talking to his wife on the phone about what they're going to do. And his solution to the moon crashing into the Earth is hiding in a cabin he has up in the Aspen Mountains. And the mum's really worried about abandoning Sonny in jail. He won't be able to make it to Aspen. And I'm like, guys, there's a bigger problem that you're missing here. Whether or not Sonny is in jail doesn't really matter if the moon's going to crash into Earth.
Yeah.
There's
that, like, beautiful saying people have about how, like, every time you look at the moon, someone else is looking at the same moon.
Yeah.
That same moon's going to crash into you no matter where you are.
Exactly. So, it's going to hit your eye. You better watch out. There's a, like, melancholia scenario happening, and no one seems to care in this movie. Yeah. They're all just like, oh, God, I guess we better keep going. Whereas, like, no one is depressed in this whole movie. That the world is over. Anyway.
Why did the trailers, or the film in general, not have a sad version of when the moon hits your eye?
Oh, they should have done that. God.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Have you seen the trailer for this movie? I imagine they could have gotten a Pink Floyd track on there. If they'd done the Dune Eclipse thing.
Yeah. They don't have any Pink Floyd in the movie. I checked that on... because I didn't hear it.
Genius.
Yeah, I checked that on IMDb, and that's how I learned that sweet Stanley Tucci fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the trailer has a slowed down version of Bad Moon Rising, which, you know, is missing one thing, is that the moons are falling, not rising, but anyway.
We'll take it, you know, like, that's good enough. Okay, well, so this next bit really annoys me.
Yes.
Because we see this lunar mission take off, and then like on the news, we get like a news report. And then we get a news report about the mounting moon terror with people are being driven into a state of panic and frenzy and are starting to riot and loot across the country. And I'm like, you guys, who let this make it to air? It just feels so tone deaf. Like, had the director been paying attention to, like, the world, like, the Earth? Was he just looking at the moon for the last, like, 3 years and, like, had forgotten that we live on Earth, maybe?
I think so. I think he, like, probably missed that there was a coronavirus pandemic and it's just been exclusively, like, the moon might fall.
Yeah. And everyone's like,
I know,
okay.
like... It definitely impacted production. Like, they couldn't shoot on any location. So later, earlier, when you see Patrick Wilson get off his sweet hog.
Oh, yeah, CGI.
And, go to Griffith Observatory. It's so fake.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe he just didn't realize it all. He was just like, man, yeah, okay. I guess they don't want me to go outside to there. Better keep working on Moonfall.
Everyone keeps saying no to my Moon movie, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah.
All the haters, be damned. I'm just going to make it. I'm going to use CGI everywhere, all right?
Yeah.
Fine. Can't slow me down.
I'll use my 3 roommates who live with me. Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, and John Bradley.
Perfect. What wacky roommates.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. The chemistry is evident.
Yeah.
Anyway. So now it's a week later after this news report, and we see like smoke rising from the city, from the riots. Oh my god, it's only going to get worse. And Harper's like searching the bin to try and find Casey's notes, mainly because he doesn't remember his name and wants to find him now that he realizes that this guy had figured out the moon crashing into the earth thing before anybody else. Eventually finds it with this like really awkward interaction with a security guard, and goes to meet Casey at a hotel where he's doing like a speech about mega structures. Goes to see him there. They have a chat about Casey's theory that the moon is this big mega structure, a Dyson sphere that I covered earlier.
Essentially the Game of Thrones logo.
Yeah, actually, with the spinning wheels and everything, not far off. Anyway, just like little emblazoned like wolves and dragons and stuff in there. That would have been great. He proposes this theory, and Harper still dismisses this as crazy. He's like, "That's crazy," and then rightly so. Casey's like, why did you come here if you're not going to believe me? And he responds with the line, because I know what it's like to tell people something and have no one listen, which is supposed to be like deep, right? It's supposed to be him referencing his past with no one believing a story about the nanobots or whatever. But it also just sucks. Like, it doesn't forgive him, like... He could have just said, I believe you, and the same lesson would have applied. But no, he said, no, this is dumb and you're crazy for no reason. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're dumb and you're crazy. But I also 100% believe that dumb and crazy people should be listened to.
Yeah. It's like, okay, weird. It's like that,
It also plays so weird now. Like, again... assuming Roland ignored the, like, whole world and just made Moonfall. Like, I don't know, giving a lot of credence to conspiracy theorists now that we know that they're bad people seems really weird.
No, thank you. Not a good lesson.
Yeah, I'll see that on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, put it on the bad lessons board. Get it up there.
Oh, do you remember, just off an old joke, the baddie board?
Oh, yes. Harper made the baddie board for dodging his rent, and for making nonsensical statements that could inspire people to listen to conspiracy theorists. So you're on the baddie board, mate.
Yeah,
locked in. I love the callback. Anyway. We see the lunar mission, meanwhile, arriving on the moon, or at the moon. They drop a probe down the little hole, and this is being monitored back at NASA. And the probe gets rocketed back towards them at rapid speeds, because the nanomachine swarm is shunting it back towards them. And it very brutally kills the astronauts inside their little ship here, stabbing into their faces through their helmets. Very face huggery. But yeah, not nice, not good.
No.
Surely the vacuum of space would have killed them before the alien did, but that's fine. I guess they're nanobots, so maybe they snuck in through the cracks or whatever. But don't know. Makes no sense. Yeah. Spaceships usually vacuum sealed, so. Unclear. Anyway. So we see that meanwhile, on Earth, the moon is causing the tides to rise massively. The tides are high, but I'm holding on. And I'm going to be your number one. No.
Pink Floyd.
They roll through the city, just causing mass destruction and desolation across the coastal regions. Full tsunami kind of scenario. Not good. This is enough to do a lot of damage, kill a lot of people, but obviously not shown. Anyway, in the foyer of the hotel, Casey and Harper are nearly swept away by this wave coming in. But they save. Harper saves Casey, and then they just sort of hang out at the bottom of the stairs for a bit. We go back to NASA now, over a perfect transition to Any Color You Like at the end of Us and Them, by the way. Which is good. That's a sync. And they're just reviewing this footage of the horrible attack. And Fowler suspects that this is some kind of malevolent, sentient AI drawn by the energy signature of the capsule. It's drawn in of the probe that they dropped, right? So it's been attracted by them and coming in and killing them. And she says the line, "Everything we thought we knew about the nature of the universe has gone out the window."
Yeah.
And it's yep. Yes.
Yeah.
And she says,
literally, because there was a bunch of moonbees going back out the window.
Yeah, man. Then the head of NASA guys goes and talks to his family on the phone, and she's like, "Whoa, what are you doing? You've got to help me try and kill this thing." And it's did you hear yourself, your previous sentence? There's no way. You aren't ready. You aren't going to stop it. It's a nanomachine swarm in space. The NASA guy, the head of NASA, quits and goes to be with his family. And shout outs to him for having rational thought in this situation. And
again, I'm assuming by family he means the moonbees. Nope.
He walks out that door, turns into a swarm of moonbees, and goes straight to the goddamn moon. Yes. Fowler goes to the hidden stockpile or whatever that's hiding all the secret knowledge, the classic Raiders of the Lost Ark final scene area. And Donald Sutherland is there in a wheelchair, being a conspiracy boy, in charge of this facility, and saying, that we covered it up. The original moon landing, there was alien lights and everyone played ball and nobody knew, and we kept it a secret for 80 years. And we've known about this horrible swarm of alien technology out there, and we couldn't figure out a way to beat it. So yeah, we just kept it a secret. We knew it was a problem, but not a lot we can do.
We get the beautiful line, though, of, does this mean the moon is the biggest cover-up in history?
Yeah. Yes, he says. Yes, it is.
And he would definitely be the character played by Roger Waters from Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah. You nailed it. So true. Oh, my gosh. That's perfect. Not that Donald Sutherland doesn't do a good job here. He's only in this.
Oh, no, not at all.
He's only in this one scene, but he's just like, he's quite funny being like, yeah, the whole moon thing, it's crazy. Bye. That's all he does in the movie. This is a very easy check for him.
Do you think he even, appears in the same shot as Halle Berry? Do you reckon he just, filmed it in his house?
Not clear. Yeah. Just on the green screen. Possible. Yeah. Anyway. We go to brain damage as Fowler has a briefing with the US government saying that they're putting together a plan to fix this. She says she has a theory that the moon might return to its original orbit if they manage to stop this thing. Not entirely sure how that's going to happen or where that theory comes from or why she thinks that in any way, but sure.
Yeah, and she's 100% correct, so...
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
This is unprecedented, and so perhaps using logic is not the solution, so she's just rolling with it and saying, hey, maybe if we do something, none of us are going to die. That's a fun plan, isn't it? That's pretty cool. US government, what do you think of that one? And they're like, no, we actually don't believe you, and also we're going to take over the operation. Sorry. And Fowler's ex-husband is here because he's part of the Ministry of Defense, and she tells him off, being like, "No, you boys can't nuke the moon. You're gonna nuke the moon." And he's like, "No one said anything about nuking the moon." Which, fair enough. It's probably what they're gonna do, but still.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it's quite funny that she's just really mad at him, scolding him like a child. For nuking the moon. Anyway, it also turns into a personal argument about not visiting their son, which is so weird to bring up here, but sure. What a weird...
You fellas know when your ex-wife, brings up the fact you want to nuke the moon in an argument, you've lost. Yeah,
for sure. Put that on a long tea towel that we sell now. Yes. So we go to...
It's Dad's night in. He's going to nuke the moon.
Nuke the moon.
What happens in the man cave is nuking the moon and stays in the man cave, except for when I nuke the moon.
Wow. This is a very convoluted man cave sign. Moon cave. Yeah. Anyway, we go into Eclipse and the end of playthrough 1. We've done one playthrough. Here we go.
Yeah.
As Casey and Harper are just hanging out in a hotel room talking about Harper's presumed failure back in 10 years ago. They're discussing it. Casey doesn't see it that way, the way that Harper and everyone else is seeing it. He's like, you saved Fowler's life and you did what you could. And no one believes you about the whole nanomachines thing. But you still did something miraculous. You piloted a ship with no power and you saved somebody's life. That's commendable. And I agree. It's just weird that nope, he's disgraced because he won't shut up about aliens. But sure. So Fowler and Michelle are going to go to this they're traveling to the bunker because the military have taken over the operation. NASA's no longer involved, so they're going to hide out in some kind of military bunker. Her kid comes in and goes, "Mom, are we going to die?" In the most not at all sad delivery. The kid in this movie just has one tone throughout, is not at all scared about the moon crashing into Earth. He's so bored on this green screen set, dude. Oh, love him to bits.
Yeah.
But he gives Fowler the idea to steal a space shuttle from a museum and use that to deliver a secret payload of the stuff she learned about in the bunker. Not the bunker, the secret location. An EMP bomb to shut down the swarm. That's the new plan, and that's what the kid comes up with at the end of playthrough 1. Sure. We start playthrough 2, and Harper and Casey get collected by NASA for this mission. For some reason, we'll find out why soon. There's a bit of like, oh no, I won't work with you again. You betrayed me, that kind of stuff. When they're like reintroduced to each other, Harper and Fowler. It's just, with like Casey in the background being comic relief, I guess. It's not great. She takes them to the control room and shows them the footage of this attack by the nanomachine swarm. And she's like, well, when this thing attacked, the moon started moving back to its original orbit. And as soon as it finished the attack, it started again on its trajectory towards Earth. Impossible, sure. Just moon magic, baby. And so the plan is to fly a spaceship in there, deliver a bomb, get out, fly back home. No power, though. So the only person who's piloted a shuttle without power successfully back to Earth is Harper, and that's why they need him. Harper's like, oh, I will do this. I will save the world, but on the condition that you get my son out of jail. Because he's got priorities, man. He's like, get my son out of jail. I don't care about the moon killing everyone. I will not do it. I will not save the world unless you get my son out of the prison. Oh, so funny.
It would have been so funny if he's just like, release everyone from jail.
That would have been way better.
Yeah.
Set them free. That's great. The Shawshank Redemption story of Harper here. Get them out. Let them free.
It's the rain scene from the Shawshank Redemption, but he's like throwing his arms out while little bits of moon are falling on him.
So they go and get the space shuttle from the museum. It's been graffitied with a line saying, fuck the moon.
Yes, love that.
The moon, man. They also keep it on there for the meme more so than anything else. For the Vine. The moon starts causing like seismic activity because its gravitational pull is affecting the Earth, which it probably would. It would like cause a shitload of issues. But anyway, we get the chopper sounds in On the Run, the like helicopter sounding synthesizer when they are arriving by helicopter. The army are coming in via helicopter to deliver this bomb and explain its use to you, the audience. Push these 2 buttons and you can blow up the moon. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to know. Even KC can understand it. And
the scientist or this military type looks like Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
He does.
If he was having the worst day.
Oh, I mean, wouldn't you? The moon's going to be... You're explaining how to nuke the moon. And you're like... you haven't seen your wife or daughter in weeks, Gareth.
Yeah. Haven't been able to play the bass because the gravity changed. Now the bass sounds really high or something.
Yeah, he's but a humble flea on the back of Earth. All right? Look after him. Look after the boy. Yes. So they prepare for this mission, this shuttle launch. There's a shitload of people working on it when suddenly there's an earthquake that strikes and it conks out one of the engines on this conked out space shuttle. And so they're like, oh no, everything's hopeless. Fowler decides that the mission's over and sends everyone home, deeming it like, the mission's over. Go home, everyone. Be with your loved ones. And as soon as she's made this decision, she then learns that the moon has more mass than usual, according to new calculations. because they made estimates and they weren't accounting it on being a giant spaceship. And so even with their limited fuel, they'll be able to make it to the moon. The moon will pull them the rest of the way when it gets close enough. Ludicrous. And yeah, like it's after she's sent everyone home and they've got like a skeleton crew of like randoms left at the base who presumably have no family or something. Just the orphan crew of NASA. Or something, I don't know.
It's so funny that it must have just been too awkward to call everyone up and go like, "Oh, guys, we can still go to the moon."
Yeah, that's like a plot point in this. They send everyone home for basically no reason.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, whoops, we shouldn't have done that." And now we have about 10 minutes to launch a space shuttle with 3 guys.
Yeah, and one of them sucks.
Exactly. Oh my God. And so they decide that since they only have a few people left, they decide to take Casey along into space because he's literally one of the few people they have left. So he's now the army representation on this mission. Fantastic. They say their goodbyes to their family in case they die up in space or the family dies on Earth by the moon exploding. And they give little Jimmy a cell phone so that he can call his papa, call his dad. This is some of the worst acting in the whole film, honestly. Halle Berry's like trying her best, but she is working with some rough dialogue. She's like, "I love you more than all the stars in the sky, my son." Oh my goodness. Silly stuff.
I feel like... So she's already an Oscar winner, but they should stop giving Oscars for people who act well with good scripts. Yeah. And just start giving them to the people who can nail a bad script, because that's acting.
They really should, yeah. That would be great. They should at least get half an Oscar. Just give them the legs or something. Yeah,
just start chopping up the Oscars. Yeah. Like, the Oscars are so much more fun when it's just like, look at these movies who are nominated. I don't care who wins. Just chop up an Oscar
give them all a bloody good clap, all right?
Yeah.
They've earned it.
Making a movie is hard. Every movie should get a bit of an Oscar.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. That's the Pink Floyd stance on the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So they're going to, now that they've missed the plane, the family, by the way, they're going to drive to the bunker. Why they didn't airlift their families out while they were sending away all the NASA staff, nobody knows why they didn't do that. But okay, just for drama, baby. Anyway, they launched the space shuttle because the moon is so close and it's ready to draw in the ship and get them there, but it's also drawing in all the water on planet Earth into a massive wall of water, a tidal wave, a dramatic CGI sequence that is dumb as hell. This alone would be enough to destroy Earth, by the way. Everyone is fucked. Even if they go underground, the whole planet is ravaged by this, you would imagine. But
by gravity waves.
Yep. Movie doesn't care. That's fine. But sure, we go into money as this shuttle launches, and successfully it goes up into space, dodging narrowly this wall of water. But stupidly, the family get out and watch. They get out of their car and they can see on the horizon that there's this tsunami wave the size of like a skyscraper coming towards them, and they suddenly realize there's a shot of them being like, "Oh shit, that's right, we're going to die." It's so stupid.
Oh yeah, that's happening in our eyes, not on like a TV or anything.
No, that's real. You need to run away. You need to outrun the pace of the moon orbiting Earth, which, by the way, did the math, it's about 1,000 miles an hour. That they need to travel in a car. You know.
And their car's not even a bloody Lexus.
No, there's no way.
I don't think they can do it.
They don't have that top speed, I'm pretty sure. Oh, God damn.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm so glad you did the math.
So stupid. So stupid. Outrun the moon. They managed to do it in their little army car. And the ship manages to get away into space and refuel at a SpaceX satellite. Heavy sponsorship by SpaceX and Elon Musk in this film. Don't know what that means.
Honestly, that's the only part of this film I didn't deeply love. I wonder, again, I think they were just in such a bubble writing this film.
A lot of endorsement
they kind
of him.
Missed that Elon Musk is a bit of a creep and a weirdo.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He's like heralded as like as much of a hero as anyone else in this film.
Yeah.
This mission...
The four heroes are Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, John Bradley, and Elon Musk for some reason.
I wouldn't be surprised if he like tried to get his name on the poster. Like...
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. Well, actually, the MOONFALL official Twitter account, which I would recommend a follow.
Yeah.
Because... it promoted the movie up to a certain point, and now that the movie's kind of out and gone into the atmosphere, much like the moon, they've let just like someone's insane niece take over.
Hell
and it's
yeah.
just posting like weird lo-fi moon memes, like photoshopping the moon to be at the Oscars and like hot moons in your area kind of stuff.
Oh my god.
But before they let this absolute legend run the MOONFALL Twitter, they like posted the most cringe thing that was a video clip of MOONFALL, and it said like, "What would Elon do?" Which is a line they actually use in this movie. And then it's like, he'd probably go see MOONFALL. So I think it's even sadder is that Elon Musk had nothing to do with this movie. He just like
it's just
worshipped
worshipped
like
by
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn. That's
They were hoping it would be like Dogecoin, like it, and it'll be good for it. I assume. I don't really know.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, that's made me like actually sad. That whole series of events. Goodness me.
Yeah. Except for obviously letting someone's insane niece run your film's Twitter account.
Yeah, that saved me from a spiral where I'm like a moon crashing into the earth. That's made me cheered my day to know that the MOONFALL Twitter lives on beyond the movie. Regardless,
gosh, I hope it's still going in like 6 years.
Whoa, that would be great.
Still current events, but it's like, what if MOONFALL was addressing it?
Yeah, you guys checked in on the moon lately? Have you seen if there's a hole in it? Because we've checked.
Honestly,
every day.
None of this would have. None of the events of MOONFALL would have happened if the person running the Twitter account of MOONFALL had been running the Twitter account of MOONFALL
exactly
during the events of MOONFALL.
Yes,
it's clear as day.
It is. I'm angry that hasn't happened in this film, Gareth. The meta narrative of MOONFALL. Yes. We're still doing our show. Mid-money solo here.
I'm so lost. Thank you.
There's like a weird like the crew, the ground crew. I start calling them the ground crew and the space crew from here on.
That's fair.
The ground crew. There's sort of like a weird shipping situation where the movie's setting up Michelle and Sonny to fall in love with each other. Doesn't commit to this in any way.
No.
It's just because both of their characters are like incredibly half-baked. But, you know, like they're like, hey, maybe romance could thrive under the full moon. Anyway.
Why was the tagline for this not, you've heard of a full moon, what about a moon full?
Oh, why? Why didn't they do that? Gosh, step it up.
Honestly.
I feel like they should have just, like, we said it, I think, last week, where it should have been the dark side of the moon. Like, that's just the tagline for the movie. That would have worked perfectly, you know? Oh, anyway. They had all these choices. So, yeah, they're driving to the bunker. The little kid's speaking to his dad on the phone, who's like, yep, I'll let you into the bunker when you arrive in your car. They get freaking mugged as we go into Us and Them. There's like modern day highwaymen out here trying to steal cars. What? These guys as well. just become recurring antagonists for basically no reason. Like, they're just like bad. These are on the baddie board, these guys. What are they doing? They're like, it will steal a car, see? Like, they're just like cartoon villains existing in this movie. Anyway, they steal the car, take off. Bastards. They also steal the kid's backpack for no reason, because they're literally like schoolyard bullies.
They got to get his yo-yo.
Oh, mate. Who doesn't want a yo-yo?
Learn those tricks. Try yo-yoing while the moon is extra close?
Oh, the gravity makes it so much easier. I can finally walk the dog. Oh, God. It's like the only yo-yo trick I could think of. God. And anyway.
That's the only one I can do. And yo-yoing was, of all the fads in primary school, the only one I was good at.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't Beyblade, but I could yo-yo.
Gotta let it rip, mate. Beyblade massively suffering under the influence of the moon crashing into the earth. All the tops keep spinning off into space. Yo-yo, though, mate, you were doing ludicrous tricks. People were like, how's he doing that? And then they realize, oh, right, the moon. Of course. I'll be dead in 2 weeks. Yeah,
that's why he's floating as well.
Yeah. Yes. Also, the planet is already being pelted by loose debris from the moon that is crashing down in the form of asteroids. Just causing irreparable damage to the structure of Earth and the moon. Bad times. No one seems to react massively to this. They're more concerned that they've lost their car. Up in space, the space shuttle is faring no better as well. It's getting pelted by moon debris as well. It takes off like a chunk of the space shuttle. They're worried about that as they're approaching the moon and getting ready to do the mission proper. The group on the ground get to an encampment and nearly get pulled off into space by the moon. It's at this point that the little kid gets lifted off the ground, right? Because the moon is so close. That happens here in the movie. I would like to point out later on, nobody is being lifted off the ground, not even small children, in spite of trains and boats and skyscrapers being lifted off the ground. Gravity is very selective in this movie. If you've got your feet on the ground and you haven't done a jump, mate, you are not being affected by that moon. You got the lead shoes on. You are not moving. As soon as you do a jump, fair game. You're right. Yeah. Being pulled up into the moon, probably. Who knows?
The moon just doesn't understand shoes. It fears shoes and doesn't want to suck any of them up.
Mate,
it's gravity.
As soon as it experienced that Apollo 11, the moon shoes on it, it was like, nah, never again. I'm going to destroy Earth. That's what those lights were all about. Anyway, it's really, really silly. They managed to hide inside a little cabin and survive it. It looks like they nearly get hit by a tractor as well. But it's just like a red herring or something. It's just a scene transition of a tractor hitting a wall. Maybe they use it as leverage to hold themselves down. I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
Up in space, they start this little mission proper. They deploy Harper in his little craft, his lander, and he's got the bomb on board, and he drops it out there and then comes back. However, the swarm, it doesn't take the bait. It just sort of circles around it and doesn't chomp onto it like a big hungry shark, and instead goes straight for the ship, the shuttle, coming after them, because it's actually drawn by biological signals inside an electronic environment, is what they determine later. Is it's draw? Sure. It's very specific.
So complicated and specific, yeah.
Yeah. Just a weird detail. Very convoluted, but sure. Anyway, it instead goes for the shuttle in spite of them having basically no technology on, because KC has smuggled his cell phone into space. And the solution to this is to smash it against the panel inside the space shuttle, along with the activator, the switch for the bomb. also gets smashed. The smashing of this doesn't break it, notably. He smashes it enough to turn the power off to it so that they don't get devoured by space bees. But it doesn't. It comes back. It makes no sense. They break the thing just for the scene, and then it's no longer a problem again. So whatever. Surely, as soon as it comes back online, the thing would be alerted to their presence once more. But never mind. Whatever. So yeah, the new problem is that they need some kind of biological signature to go along with the bomb for the swarm to be attracted to it, because otherwise it's not going to even get near it. Won't be affected. So someone's going to have to sacrifice themselves in order to get this plan in effect, is the new realization. They also argue because there's a pending nuclear attack that's going to be happening on the moon. They're discussing the army's plans to nuke the moon, which, by the way, unrelated. Fun fact about nuclear weapons is that they cause an electromagnetic pulse to happen as soon as they detonate over a widespread area. It would probably, nuking the moon would probably kill this thing. It would probably also kill humanity, but it would definitely kill the thing, and that it would cause a pulse. So the army's half right at the very least. They wait until the bloody last second to nuke the moon, though. Like nuclear, like the way to I've discussed this on the podcast before, but the way to create an electromagnetic pulse theoretically is to detonate a nuclear device in space, and that's what causes a pulse. That's the most common way to do it. But anyway, it's the movie doesn't mind. No, they're different things as far as it's concerned.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on Earth, the ground crew come upon like a survivors' encampment. There's like a lady here who's incredibly trigger happy and just fires upon them with a sniper rifle for no reason. Until hero Tom, stepdad Tom, arrives in his beautiful Lexus to take them up to the Aspen Cavern of complete safety. Gotta love him. Here, it saves them from this strange lady with a gun. It takes them up there. Not at all safe, but at least they'll die together. So yay for that. So they get there, and then Harper's like, he's like, "Where's your dad, Harper? Where's your dad, Sonny?" And he's like, "Harper's up in space. He's doing the space thing, trying to save us from the moon." And Tom says, "Well, that's one way to dodge the rent." What a one-liner. What a guy.
Yeah.
Imagine the Tooch delivering that line, though.
Right?
Anyway. Brain Damage coming in, playthrough 2, as they hear over the radio that, in fact, sitting in your Aspen cabin is not a solution to the moon crashing into Earth, and that they should evacuate and go to a military bunker. Who knew? Tom says that they aren't going to make it, but he's got a sneaky secret plan that he's going to save the day with. They go and fetch some oxygen tanks and masks from like a fire station? Unclear.
People that he sold a beautiful Lexus to before.
Yeah, the Lexus fire trucks. Anyway, it's at this point we cut back to space, and the space crew up here abandon the space shuttle entirely. They all go aboard the little lander together and abandon their only way home out here, sentencing them all to death in my mind. And the shuttle does explode due to space debris behind them. So I guess they had some kind of plot-related foresight that led them all to get aboard this little ship. So that's fine. The little ship goes down into the tunnel. Just coasts down there as none of the electronics are on, as the Floyds, our boys, they sing "See You on the Dark Side of the Moon." The dark side in this instance referencing the interior.
Yes.
Moon interior scene setting.
Oh, see, Pink Floyd would have never imagined the inside of the moon as the dark side.
Oh, mate. That's side 3 of the album is the inside of the moon.
You have to rotate your vinyl, line
lengthways.
And put the needle on that bit and just try to spin it yourself.
Oh my gosh. Incredible.
Yeah, and you just get the audio to the film Moonfall play.
There we go. We've done it.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yes. So this tunnel slowly becomes metallic in nature. And within the moon, they encounter this hyper-advanced interior of technology with spinning halo rings, Game of Thrones intro, and the white dwarf at the center, just like Casey theorized, a miniature sun in here on its way to die. Okay. Pretty funny. Yeah. And we go into the end of playthrough 2 over this discovery. Over the heartbeats in between the plays, the ground crew encounter the bad luck bandits again, the highwaymen, who just try and rob them of the oxygen and masks, but get counter robbed by Sonny, who has a gun. They all have guns, by the way. I'm not a gun mathematician, but this is still 2 guns to 1 gun. So in my mind, that Sonny should be dead. But sure, I don't know. I've not seen enough westerns to figure out how a highwayman encounter would typically go down.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all losing oxygen slowly, and that's why this happens.
That's probably the description for everything that's happening in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just everyone's losing oxygen.
They're just not thinking straight. Yeah. Anyway, Tom even describes this scene in the weirdest line of dialogue. He's like, "Yeah, they tried to rob us, but we robbed them back. Fuck those guys." Basically, I was like, "Okay, thank you, thank you, Tom." For that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, he's like a child existing in this movie, trying to explain what's happening. It's really funny. We get to Speak to Me and play through 3 as the space crew come up on this white dwarf going in to breathe, and they see that these halo rings have fields growing on them, as theorized by one of Casey's nutter mates. They get attacked by the big swarm of stuff, but then are pulled into safety by a tractor beam from within the moon. They get pulled through some pod bay doors to safety. However, the ship gets very badly damaged and they leak out all of their oxygen. They cannot breathe in the air, Gareth, notably. And the Pink Floyd agree because they sing Race Towards an Early Grave at this point when Harper is struggling for air, trying to reach for a helmet, and he can't. So they're dead. Rip. Yes. The US is now planning to nuke the moon, assuming that other efforts have failed. And this is interrupted by a phone call to the defense guy from The Kid again. After escaping the bandits, he calls them on the cell phone, and then they persistently come back. The bandits, even after all this, start a car chase with the moon approaching, and I guess losing oxygen. They need that oxygen to survive is their key motivator here. And so they fire guns into the back of the car full of oxygen tanks like geniuses.
Never seen Jaws.
Yeah. They've never seen it. Not once. I don't think anyone involved in this movie's seen Jaws. Anyway, there's a car chase. It's not great. It's a CGI filled sequence. And
hell yeah.
It's honestly, it's really, really silly. There's a lot of defying gravity. The Lexus does a sweet jump over a ravine.
Hell yeah, it does.
The baddies drive into a train and explode. Tom fires a gun at the baddies and goes, "Whoa!" Which is really funny. Just a Lexus salesman firing a gun and saying, "Whoa." Love it.
You wouldn't have got that with Stanley Tucci playing the role.
No.
He would have just been a bit bemused and then taken a sip of a delicious orange wine.
He would have. I love him being drunk in this movie. That's perfect. That would be a great character trait. It's like, the moon's crashing into the Earth, I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying my last moments. Anyway.
The only way they can get him to go to the bunker is they tell him it's a wine cellar. And he's like, well, let's go. He's like already in the Lexus.
Is Italy down there? I guess I have to look. Yeah. Anyway, the Lexus manages to save everyone as the beautiful machine of modern engineering that it is. It does sadly die a death out here in the woods. Tragically. Rest in peace, Lexus. We love you.
I would have loved it if at the end they were like, where's the Lexus? And someone just does like that sad shaking of the head.
Yeah.
Like, didn't make it.
They ask about the Lexus before Tom.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be great. Now,
I know you're not a fan of this scene, but you have to agree that a weird CGI car chase where literally the moon is also chasing you sinks the heck out of On the Run by popular rock band.
Yeah,
Pink
it
Floyd.
does. Pretty perfect. I'm not going to lie, Gareth. I was going to round back to that at the end here. It is a good fit. It's a bad scene, but it's a great scene. There you go.
Oh, that should be like a stamp that we make for the merch.
We should.
Bad scene, great scene.
Very good. Yes, so the poor Lexus dies, and so do all the birds on Earth as they fall out of the sky because the atmosphere is deteriorating because the moon's crashing into Earth.
I forgot about the birds.
Yeah. Remember how all birds die in this movie? Oh my lord. Like, the Earth is fucked, like, because of this. There's nothing to save. I don't understand the stakes of this movie. Everyone is dead. There's like, possibly like, the max population of the Earth after this movie is like, in the like 1,000 range. There's no way that like they're able to rebuild society after this. It's crazy. Anyway,
that's the thing about Roland Emmerich films is just like he has to show the big destructions. Like, that's how he gets his bread buttered. But it does completely go. Yeah, what's the stakes? Kind of the worst has already happened.
Yeah. The Earth's fucked. There's nothing to save. It's over. Movie's over. Go home. Anyway, birds die. Rip in peace, birds. Rest in peace, Lexus. But the troop must carry on. They don their oxygen masks and travel towards a train tunnel. Because fun fact about tunnels, doesn't matter what the gravity is if you're in a tunnel. Because you unless it's like somehow lengthways, but otherwise you're sweet. Moon crash into Earth, you go into a tunnel. Perfect. The tunnel won't collapse under the weight of the moon. Anyway, back inside the moon, we cut to Casey and Fowler waking up after right as the clocks come in time. Alarm clocks awakening
I think
them.
I've been waiting for 100 episodes,
right?
By the way.
Someone waking up over clocks. Finally, it happened.
We got it with Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Incredible.
So in a way, it's like we're reliving that same day, but, you know.
What a time.
Been waiting.
Yeah. Theory from here on in the movie, they're all dead, by the way. This is all a dream from here on.
I like that.
Yes, they find they can breathe in the air, and there's artificial gravity inside of this facility, and Harper is missing. They don't know where he's gone. So
the air and the gravity is brought up so weirdly as well.
Yeah.
It's Casey going like, oh, smells weird.
Yeah.
And then looks at his hands and goes, gravity. The same way you'd look at your hands if you were like showing off your fresh manicure.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the same level of gravitas to that, you know? Oh, it's so stupid. The fact that he says it smells weird. It's like, mate, it smells like the moon. You're in the goddamn moon. What are you doing? Anyway. Fowler suspects that they're now dealing with two competing alien forces, one of them liking them more than the other. They're like, okay, put the swarm of nanomachines up on the baddie board. Who's to say about this other unknown force yet? Reserve judgment. That's what Fowler's thinking right now. Time's vocal kicks in and we go into Harper's mind palace as he's having a vision brought on by the moon's AI. Which is a sentence I said, and he's seeing a vision of his son, Sonny, and he provides the exposition for what the fuck is happening with this moon machine. Apparently, there was a progenitor race of humans millions and millions, billions of years ago, before the Earth existed, and they lived a prosperous utopian life. Where they've evolved beyond the need of war, and all social conflicts have been resolved, is what he says.
Yeah.
The little kid says they were so advanced with like such reverence. It's so stupid. It's like you're presumably from this species, like. So, like, you were an AI created by this exact faction. So why would you say they were so advanced? Like you are them. I don't know. Anyway,
just bragging.
Yeah, just loving himself. However, their hubris in resolving all war was brought low by them relying on AI. He says the dumbest sentence possible, and that he says, "Oh, the AI suddenly became self-aware," and it's like, that's what AI means.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence. It implies awareness, kid. Step it up. Anyway, and the AI, it became the countless swarms of nanotechnology, Gareth.
Yeah.
Became the swarms, turned into this horrible black stuff, and came in and killed all the people. Killed this little girl in a vision. I will say that this playing out on mute, such a relief. Not to having hear this exposition, instead just enjoying great gig in this. Oh no, Time's solo over this instead.
Yeah.
Thrilling, loving it. Much more so than hearing this dialogue for a second time. And instead just having to read it. Sonny, over the course of this exposition, has transformed into his modern day self, his grown up 10 years later self. And explains that this progenitor race then created these moons, these crafts, designed to like spread their race around the galaxy, and also like terraform planets in order to be suitable habitats. And that's only one managed to escape the nanomachine attack, and that one created the Earth. And so that's where the people come from.
Yeah.
It's a wild story and not very original, but it's fine. Sure.
Oh, I love it so much. The CGI of the moon creating the Earth.
Oh
and
my
then,
God.
Like,
that
rising
sequence,
over its new child as the waves kick in.
hilarious. So good over the time solo.
Oh,
mate.
Yeah, all I needed was the moon to then give the little Earth a little kiss.
A little kiss, and then drifts off starts orbiting. It's done its work, and now it may rest.
So this movie is saying that the moon made us, and then just like hovers around like a nice mum, just like,
little protector.
Need anything? Do you want me to tuck you in? And that's when the moon moves the tides.
Yeah. Also, it's full of spaceships, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this AI, its plan is to destroy civilization of Earth and the moon in one go. The theory is that it's causing the Earth to crash into... No, the moon to crash into the Earth so that it can't just put more DNA onto the Earth and terraform the planet over the course of 3 billion years. Sure. Or 7 billion years or whatever. How old's the Earth? I don't know. I wasn't around for all of it.
No. You've only been there for a little bit.
Only a little. But yeah, it's you would think that instead, the sentient AI, this nano swarm, would eradicate all life on Earth so that nothing could be stopped, that it couldn't be stopped in doing its dark deeds on the dark side of the moon. You would think that, right? No. Instead, it's like, actually, the most efficient option is to do both at once. Save time.
Yeah. Especially, like, these moon bees are so good at killing people.
Yeah, really good.
And, like, yeah, they could just be flying around killing everyone and then deal with them, then crash the moon.
Yep. Easy.
Exactly what you said. Or, like,
perfect.
Fling the moon away into the sun.
Yep.
And then just fly around, murking everyone.
No, even if they did that, the Earth would take care of itself by, like, the destruction of the tides and all manner of other horrible things that would happen if we lost our moon. You know? Just move it into the sun. Easy. We don't even need, just moon gone. That's not moonfall, guys. This is a big pitch meeting that's happening amongst the swarm every day.
Yeah. That is the problem with the swarm, is you do have to go with, the loudest voice, the guy who's steering the swarm.
Who steers the swarm?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway.
The Moonfall novels. Who steers the swarm?
So good. Yes. At the end of this vision, it's like, okay, Harper, we need you to save the day. Join the fight, Harper. Uncle Sam pointing at you. We need you to protect humanity. And they project into his head all the knowledge of the moon. Somehow. He does like a weird, like, kind of acting as he's getting moon knowledge. And then he's like, yes, I know exactly what to do after this. As he gets reunited with the rest of Team Attack the Swarm Moon friends. They head off with a new plan. The Moon's also souped up their ship, pimped their ride, as it were, while they were having this moon vision. We go where that's the new plan. It's given them like a mega bomb, like a Mega Man upgrade in the back of their new ship. It's really funny. I've officially been pimped. We cut back to Earth, and Tom decides he needs to needlessly sacrifice himself to save his daughter. His daughter runs out of air in her oxygen tank, and instead of sharing a tank and swapping the masks back and forth to continue their walk, he decides, nope, you have mine, and I'll die here of asphyxiation. My daughter, don't look back. Weird move by Tom. But fair play. Maybe he didn't think of that. There's not a lot of oxygen going around. Took me 2 seconds to think of it. If your daughter's running out of oxygen, give her a little puff on your one. Tell her to hold her breath for a little bit. Maybe you'll both survive. Who knows?
Yeah, that's all easy for you to say, but you haven't just lost your beloved Lexus.
It's true. No, he is distraught.
In fact,
the daughter's
probably
like
near
insult to
Alexis.
injury. Honestly.
Yeah.
He lost one child already. He's not losing another. Fair enough. Okay. So yes, he dies out there, and immediately Sonny's like, oh, go back and save him. Goes out like a lunatic. Hate moon stuff. Decides to go out there and gets like knocked away by a tree defying gravity, which would send him flying into the oblivion, but no, he's fine. Just gets pinned under a big tree. And Michelle's like, he's now trapped out there and dying. Let me go out and get him. What is going on? Why is this like the Scooby method of saving people? Like, are they in a horror movie all of a sudden? This person's lost. I better go out there and find them on my own. Like, what? Okay. Really silly. Anyway.
It's like when I lost my shoes and my mum sent my brother out to get them for me because I didn't have shoes, and then he lost his shoes doing it. So mum had to go back and find both the shoes.
Oh my god, that is just like that.
And we were just waiting there with our bare feet
What is
injured.
this, like shoe stealing chronicle? What was happening?
It's honestly too long a story.
Wow. Okay.
So we used to walk over to the neighbor's house and we just kept losing the shoes.
Damn. That's just a shoe devil out there pinching the children's shoes. I'm not okay with that. Gosh. Oh my gosh. That's a story for another time, I guess.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of movie left. There's a chase sequence inside the moon where they're using their souped up like lander ship to fly away and steer the nano swarm into completely useless guns. I don't know if you've ever tried to shoot a swarm of flies with a gun. It doesn't work as far as I'm aware. But anyway, it's what happens in this movie. And the lander manages to pull away from the swarm and start traveling up the tunnel. We cut briefly back to the army base where they're going to nuke the moon now. And bloody, the guy, he won't do it. He's like, they're turning the keys ready to launch all the nukes. And he doesn't turn his key. He's like, my ex-wife's up on the moon. I can't do it. I can't condemn her to death. And it's like, dude, you're killing millions with these seconds that you're wasting. Like, the moon is laying waste to Earth at this point. Like, people are dying in droves, and he's just like, nah, my wife, still alive, still on the moon, can't kill her. And
he doesn't know that.
No, doesn't even know she's alive. Like, what? He's like, nah, there's a chance. There's a chance that her mad mission to the moon is still going strong, and I can't nuke it. Can't do it. That's love.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh, nice one. Anyway, condemns millions and millions of people to death, and the moon is now so close it's literally tearing apart cities, like hitting buildings. It like crests the top of a mountain at this point, like knocking the top of it off with it's that close, which is completely mad. But sure, you would think it's like the moon's made first contact with the Earth at this point. You would think that we're done. That's over, right? Surely at this point the moon is gonna break apart. But whatever.
Yeah. So it's just doing some sick Earth ollies.
Yeah, doing sick tricks. It says, "Oh yeah, you showed me your yo-yo tricks. Let me show you a trick."
Yeah.
The mountain top block. Knock that off the top. All right? I'm losing my mind reading this, by the way.
It's filming itself on Vine and just being like, moon challenge. Get on your
moon
planet.
Challenge. Hashtag moon challenge. Can you do it? No. Yes. Money's Verse is coming back in, and on the lander, Fowler and Harper are arguing about whether or not Harper should sacrifice himself for the good of humanity. She's like, no, won't let you do it. Won't let you save the day, Harper. You won't be the hero. Get dunked. And Harper's like, no, I got to do it. I've got all the moon knowledge. They've told me to do it. My son, 2 versions of my son told me to save humanity. I got to. And meanwhile, Casey sneaks off and locks himself in the little pod, and he gets to be the hero because they were too busy arguing on their little ship. And yeah, there's like a weird, like, friendly moment where he's like, you go be the hero now, KC. Love you, boy. You're a good boy. And he, like, sends him off as he floats down and gets, like, engulfed by the swarm. And then, like, activates this, like, supercharged EMP bomb and blows up the swarm, killing it. It's like a big blue, fiery explosion, sure. I get it. That's, I guess, an EMP. And meanwhile, they're like blasting off like Team Rocket, trying to get back to like shooting out of this little hole in the moon. I do love that, like, when they get out of the moon, they're so close to Earth that they just start descending.
Yeah.
It's like suddenly their gravity is like, nah, they aren't like torn up in the debris or anything. They just like float down as if it's normal Earth gravity. Sure, okay. It's not like two planets
the
are
moon's
colliding.
a goodie again.
Oh, it's
we
true,
don't have to worry.
It's already pulling away and pushing, using its magic to push the gravity back onto Earth. It's like, whoops, sorry about that. Sorry about all the devastation and destruction. Had a bit of a cold. The swarm of nanomachines were getting me down. But we're back on track, boys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Feel free to send in your complaints to moon@moon.moon. And we'll send those on to management. Sorry about that. Moonagement, nice. Meanwhile, on the ground, Sonny is crushed under a big tree. And he gets saved. Michelle runs over and says, "Don't worry, Sonny. The moon is going to help us." And she uses the logic of the moon gravity making things lighter to pull the big tree off of Sonny, freeing him. And they don't get swept away. No. They're on the ground, remember? Their shoes are on touching the floor, so the moon gravity don't count. But it does count for big trees, no shoes on trees. And yeah, they do a big jump to safety, ignoring my previous theory about the shoes touching the ground. They jump, aren't swept away, they just survive. And it doesn't make a lick of sense, but sure. And yeah, either way, Michelle survives. Sonny survives. Tom, super dead. Dead.
Yeah.
Literally, like, sacrificed himself for not a lot of reason. And then 2 people go out to try and save him and then forget. Like,
Yeah, just turn back around.
he's just dead. He's done. He gets trapped under a tree and he's like, actually, I don't need to save Tom. He could have got hit by a tree as well. So
Yeah, these trees are everywhere, man.
Man, we're in a forest. I've seen the trees. Anyway.
Moonfall 2. Tree.
Fall.
Fall. Yeah.
Tree
fall 2. No one hears it.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Anyway, nearly there. The lander comes back to Earth and the moon has disappeared or gone back into its regular place in the sky. And they stop in front of the Chrysler building. The little top of it has like come all the way out here to Aspen as it's got torn off by the freaking moon. And the families get reunited. They're like, yes, amongst the devastation of Earth. They're like, yep, all good. Everyone we care about survives.
Exactly.
And so, everyone's like, oh, what happened to Tom? And Sonny's like, Tom was a very good stepdad who self-sacrificed himself. Why didn't you do that, real dad? Why didn't you sacrifice yourself, huh? You let it to KC to do it. You delegated your sacrifice to a character that I've never met. Very cool, Dad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
By the way, this character's name was the letters K and C. Like, someone hasn't never seen the name Casey written down.
No. KC.
Anyway.
There he is. That's the weirdest part about this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, we go up for our final scene and we go into the moon's AI-generated computer world. And Casey has saved the world, but he's dead. And his consciousness has been uploaded to the moon's mainframe to live in torment forever. He's like, oh, cool, I'm dead? Cool. I get to live in the moon? This is so cool. You're not alive. You aren't you. You're a simulation of you. Have you seen Red Dwarf? You should see Red Dwarf. Anyway, he's hanging out with a hologram of his mum, who's the moon AI, and she's like, he's like, yeah, we saved the day, right? And she's like, no, we better get started on saving the day now. Let's get to it, boy. Leaving this awful film open to a sequel. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Moonfall 2. Toonfall.
Moonfall 2, more moon.
More moon? 2 moons? Question mark? Exclamation
That's the only way they can go, right?
Yeah.
Is like a second
Extra
moon appears.
What if the moon fell onto the Earth twice? It's the only escalation that I'll believe. Because Moonfall 2 in realistically would just be like Moonfall 2 Attack of the Swarms of guys. They're back. Yeah. They come to kill all the people that they didn't kill earlier. There's only about 5.
Which is... yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, Moonfall 2, the only logical explanation would be a film about humanity's struggles now that, you know, the whole world's been messed up.
Yeah.
But, like...
The rebuild.
I love Moonfall, and I'm not watching that. I want to watch a complete reset, but now 2 moons show up.
Yeah. Please. That's all we need. There you go. We've got the next script all lined up for you. Yeah. That's the end of the film. We get the credits with like a song about the moon, which I couldn't believe, by the way. Give this a listen. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you watch the full credits, the whole album plays 3 times. It fits in there, like pretty close to. I think we go into a little bit more of Speak to Me. But yeah, that's it. What did you think? How did it sink? 100 episodes.
Wow. You know, Pink Floyd once sung about time.
They did.
And, you know, they told us that time would pass, and they did it in an album about madness, and all of that is just true to this journey.
Yep.
And this is why film characters... when they give their inspirational speeches, they're actually performing written words and not just making it up on the spot late at night in their cupboards.
Yeah.
But how did Moonfall sync with Dark Side of the Moon?
How did it?
Honestly, I wanted a 10. Like, I
so
don't
did
think I wanted a 10 more going into this. So no matter what, it's going to feel disappointing. But, and most of my notes are just me writing down the funny things they said about the moon. Not really the same.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So in that case, I think it just has to be... I'm almost tempted to give it like a negative 10.
Negative 10.
Or just a letter, or just that cheeky moon emoji. But, you know...
Can we have negative 10, but the 0 is the cheeky moon emoji?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah. I think, like...
That's a deep dip on the graph.
I think if you look at the 1 really close, you see written down as, like, maybe it's a 5 question mark.
Yeah.
And that forms the 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's a sideways sentence that says maybe it's a 5 question mark.
Yeah.
Next to the moon emoji, forming... Oh, what's the negative symbol?
It's the event horizon of the universe.
It's a flat moon for Moonfall 3. Flat
moon? Pancake moon. Yeah.
Where are the flat mooners, you know?
Where are they?
If the Earth's flat.
Flat mooner.
Maybe the Earth's not flat, but the moon is.
Yeah, right? And you only see one side of it. That's pretty weird.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird. Anyway. Oh, God. There we go. We've done it yet again. Another sink in the books. I feel like I've, like, gone insane.
Yeah, this is truly the definitive Pink Floyd episode in that we started, you know, funny, goofy, excited boys, and now we're ending 2 insane, hardened
veterans.
Idiots.
Yeah. They're like... This happened on Independence Day as well, so maybe this is just a hallmark of this director's work alongside Dark Side of the Moon. Like, we just become so exasperated and beyond belief that we sort of lose our minds.
Yeah.
So, that's
how are you
interesting.
going to heal us, James? Much like humanity has to heal itself.
You know
and
what?
Moonfall 4.
Gareth, well, I've got another movie lined up for us. We plan to do 100 movies on the show, and there's still some more coming. I'm just gonna quickly bring up the movie that I'm about to suggest. Here it is. Yes. So we've done 100 episodes, Gareth, and you know what I say to that? Another round, Gareth, is the name of the movie that we're going to be watching. It's came out in 2020. It's a black comedy, and it stars Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh no, are we just going to do 2 hours of just how cool is Mads Mikkelsen?
Yes, we are, and I actually cannot wait.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, wow. We've gone mad. Next week, we're going
Mads. Yes.
And if you want to spend a week going mad as well, you can log on to twitter.com.
Please.
Where you can follow at Pink Floyd Pod. We'll probably just keep retweeting Moonfall's Twitter.
Yeah, follow them too. Just the Pink Floyd army. What did we call them earlier? When we called them the Greys? Can't remember. That was so long ago.
Yeah. Oh, people screaming at us for not remembering a beloved fan name.
No, we love you regardless. Definitely. Again, cannot believe we made it to 100 episodes. I'm thrilled to bits.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. That's all I can say.
From me, James, to be honest.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend. We've had good times and bad times.
Yeah.
And every week I've listened to the same album 3 times.
Yeah, can you believe that?
At least. Yeah.
Incredible. Fantastic. I can't wait to keep it going a little bit longer. And keep the Pink Floyd journey rolling. All right. Pink Floyd on Twitter, Pink Floyd Gmail, Pink Floyd on the moon, probably. We're beaming up there into space. You can find us on all the great social media platforms like the moon.
And until then, we'll see you on the increasingly close side of the moon.
I bless the rains down in Africa. I bless the rains.